إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون وقال تعالى لمثل هذا فليعمل العاملون وقال النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم فوالله ما الفقر أخشى عليكم ولكنني أخشى أن تبسط عليكم الدنيا كما بسطت على من كان قبلكم فتنافسوها كما تنافسوها فتهلككم كما أهلكتهم أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Honorable ulama ikram, respected brothers and elders, one of the greatest talent and gifts that nature has inherently placed in every human is the constant desire to progress. And just not to progress, but to excel. And it is this very inner desire that drives man and prompts man to innovate measures to simplify his life on this earth. Man put his hand on steel and converted it into excellent aircraft, into wonderful vehicles. Man placed his hand onto timber and made it into excellent furniture. Hence, this is one of the greatest gifts that Allah has given man. However, having said this here, the greatest tragedy today is that this great gift has been exclusively channeled in materialism. This talent of progressing and advancing is exclusively being channeled in materialism, which wallah was the greatest fear in the heart of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The riwayat appears in both Bukhari and Muslim, where the Nabi of Allah dispatches Abu Ubaidah ibn Jarrah towards Bahrain to receive some of the wealth there of the taxes of the people. فَقَدِمَ بِمَالٍ مِنَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ, and hence he returns with a significant amount of money. The news started spreading amongst the Ansar that Abu Ubaidah has returned and he has some money. So there was a sense of anxiety and anticipation that entered into the heart of every Sahabi. فَوَافَوْا صَلَاةَ الْفَجْرِ مَعَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. The next morning they all came and they were there early for Fajr namaz with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Nabi alayhi salam completed the salah and he turns around, فَتَعَرَّضُوا لَهُ. They politely present themselves. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam sense the atmosphere of joy, jubilation, anxiety, anticipation. Nabi alayhi salam looked at it and he says, أَظُنُّكُمْ أَنَّكُمْ سَمِعْتُمْ أَنَّ أَبَا عُبَيْدَ قَدِمَ بِمَالٍ مِنَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ. I think you've heard about Abu Ubaidah coming with some money and hence you anticipating something. So Sahaba said, yes, O Nabi of Allah, nothing to hide, that is the truth. We have come here and we do have a sense that perhaps, you would be distributing something. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam then went on and seized the opportunity. And he said, while the opportunity has presented, let me tell you, I am happy that you have come and I will give you the money you want and may Allah give you barakat in this. But let me tell you, whether you get this money or not, this is not my concern and that's not my primary worry. Let me tell you what is the primary concern in the heart of your Nabi. The fear that haunts my heart. فَوَاللَّهِ مَا الْفَقْرَ أَخْشَى عَلَيْكُمْ وَلَكِنَّنِي أَخْشَى أَن تُبْسَطَ عَلَيْكُمُ الدُّنْيَا كَمَا بُسِطَتْ عَلَى مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ. I fear not when you have this wealth, not when you don't have this wealth, but rather my primary concern is when you will have too much of this wealth. And I fear that Allah must not let that day dawn upon my ummah, that He opens up the riches of this world in such abundance like it came on the nations that preceded you. فَتَنَافَسُوهَا. And hence mutual rivalry became a common feature among them, that when selecting a car, one would not gaze at the comfort of that car, but rather buy this car which is branded to secure a name in society. Oh my Sahaba, when that will become your lot, it will destroy you like how it destroyed the nations that preceded you. Nabi alayhi salam is sitting with a Sahabi, the riwayat appears in Musnad Ahmad. Village stands up, he says, oh Nabi of Allah, we've been gripped in severe drought and hence there's famine and there's shortage and we're suffering. Nabi alayhi salam says, I sympathize with you, but you are talking of the extreme of not having anything. I'm more afraid of the other extreme when you'll have too much. You are currently talking that you have nothing. I sympathize, but that's not my concern. My concern is حِينَ يُصَبُّ عَلَيْكُمُ الدُّنْيَا صُبَّ. When Allah will give you a lot of this world, that is my fear and that is my worry. When the treasures of Persia came into Medina Munawwara, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu was there. لَمَّا أُتِيَ بِكَنْزِ كِسْرَى بَكَى Umar. He started crying profusely. Abdurrahman ibn Auf tapped him and he said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, inna hadha la yawm sururin. Indeed, this is a day of joy, happiness, that, we went through difficulties, hardships, poverty, penury, and now Allah has opened the doors of affluence, happiness and joy. Is this not the opportunity to rejoice and to be happy about this day? Look at the far-sightedness of Umar radiyallahu anhu. What did he say? Inna hadha al-mal lam yu'tihi Allahu qawman illa alqa Allahu baynahum al-adawata wal-baghdha. Study the history of affluence. What were the words of Umar? Study the history of money. Whenever it came into a tribe or a nation, it divided them. It brought about malice. It brought about jealousy. This came with that wealth. Often, brothers, while today we enjoy happiness, prosperity and affluence, we cannot forget cherishing those old days where we lived under one roof, 10 brothers together, one man working. But there was muhabbat, and even if there was this difference of opinion, the hearts were clean. Allah forgive, today these hearts have become an abode of malice. Never mind trying to contribute to the prosperity of your brother. It has become difficult for a Muslim to even witness the prosperity of his brother. So we find today this particular talent is been exclusively channeled in materialism. Islam invites us, not in subtle references, but in emphatic exhortations. In explicit exhortations, Islam invites us to express this talent in the deen of Allah. وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ لِمِثْلِ هَذَا فَلْيَعْمَلِ الْعَامِلُونَ. Allah says, when it comes to my deen, also show me how you can vie with one another, how you can compete with one another, how you can excel one another. The Battle of Uhud, elaborate preparations have been made. Young Sahaba of tender age make a contribution. 2 young Sahaba, which is the point of my discussion. One being Rafi ibn Khadij, who was not even 15 of age. Under 15, we know under 15 is soccer only. Playing under 15s. He was under 15, participating in Uhud. And there was another young Sahabi by the name of Samura ibn Jundub radiyallahu anhu. Both these 2 Sahaba disguising themselves, camouflaging, because they know him very well that if the Nabi of Allah spots us, he will return us because of our tender age. They come into the mainstream, people that are proceeding towards the battle. The Nabi of Allah catches sight of these 2 young Sahaba, and Nabi alayhi salam says, I'm sorry, you are too young, both of you will have to go back. Anyway, the Sahaba then return on the request of Nabi alayhi salatu was salam. One of the Sahabi whose name was Rafi, his father then comes to Nabi alayhi salam and he says, Oh Nabi of Allah, you have declined from my son participating. I respect your view. However, I just want to make mention, my son is a very skilled archer. My son is a very skilled archer, and if you permit, subject to your consent, his skills can be of great benefit to the ummah. Inna bani Rafi Aramin. My son Rafi is a skilled archer. The Nabi of Allah heard the intercession of the father. He says, all right, tell your son it's okay, he can come back and join. He subsequently joins. The other Sahabi hears about this here. He comes running to Nabi alayhi salam. Ya Rasulallah, laqad radattani wa ajazta rafi'an, walau sara'tuhu lasara'tuhu. O Nabi of Allah, you have permitted Rafi' to go, and you have returned me, whereas if we wrestle, I will drop him. These are the explicit words of the hadith. O Nabi of Allah, if we wrestle, I will drop him. I'm stronger than him. Initially, you return both of us, then you accept the intercession of his father on the grounds that he's a skilled archer. Perhaps I don't have the skills of archery. However, I'm a talented person, and if we wrestle, I will drop him. The Nabi of Allah says, all right, gather the Sahaba and come, and now 2 of you wrestle. One is those 2 people that are fighting in a boxing ring for a title. I devote this fight to this country, and I devote this fight to this president. And we're talking of dollars per second in that boxing ring. Not for a title, not to take a country forward, but 2 Sahaba literally are expressing their talent. Imagine, the Nabi of Allah says, go for it. One is, I know when we were small, we used to come out of school, every day there used to be a fight. I never used to fight, but I used to love refereeing those fights. It was always something that used to intrigue me to say, today it's happening at this ground and that ground. Here 2 Sahaba are literally fighting. Literally fighting. And true to his word, he drops his opponent. And the Nabi of Allah smiles and he says, you are right, go, both of you are in Jannah. Go, both of you are in martyrdom. And both of these Sahaba. So Allah invites us that challenge one another. Those 2 young Sahaba who killed Abu Jahl, who were of tender age, and then they come running to Nabi alayhi salam. Ya Rasulallah, ana qataltuhu. Ya Rasulallah, ana qataltuhu. O Nabi of Allah, let me tell you, it was me that killed your enemy. Then the other one comes, O Nabi of Allah, it was me. Nabi alayhi salam says, okay, well, bring your swords and come. Hal masahtuma sayfaykuma. Have you wiped the swords? They said, no, go bring it and come. When Nabi alayhi salam glances at the swords, he found that both the swords were stained with blood. He says, Kilakuma qatalahu. Neither you nor him, both of you collectively have killed this kafir and brought joy to the heart of your Nabi. So Allah invites us to express our talent. This is the object, and this is this great gift that Allah has given us. Nabi alayhi salam is sitting with his Sahaba. The hadith appears in Bukhari Sharif.